everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we are looking at the Yves Saint Laurent Holiday palette. Now I only have the eyeshadow palette. I don't have the lip products or the cushion that comes with it. I'm not sure I'll be picking the cushion up, but definitely some of the lip products. But I thought today we'd do swatches of the holiday palette, do a look with it, and also compare it to all the other Yves Saint Laurent Couture clutches that I have. So if you're interested in seeing that, just stay tuned. Hey everyone, so today I don't have to pull my hair back because my hair is already back. I already have a headband in, so I thought it would be easier for you to see the looks. Let me bring you in just a little bit closer. And as I said in my intro, we're doing the Yves Saint Laurent Holiday palette. This is the Couture Color Clutch. And I will show you all of the shades. There are also lip products. There are, I think, 2 lipsticks, and then I forget, 3 or 4 of like the balms that smell and taste like watermelon, Jolly Ranchers. At least they do to me. And I will pick those up when I can, but I did get early access to this, so I wanted to show you that. I'm also going to show you in comparison to the other Yves Saint Laurent clutches that I have, and just talk a little bit about which ones are my favorite and why. So let's swatch this first. I think that's the most important thing. On my face, I have just foundation and a little bit of the Givenchy redwood, something like that, gloss lip balm. And I really like it. I think it's a really good balm. It has like that plumping minty thing, like it, you know, like tingling feel. So if you don't like that, don't pick it up, but I'll make sure it's in the description box. So let's go ahead and swatch this. My brows are still recovering from my microblading. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I got them done. This is the first pass. So you can get it all done like right away. You can just, you know, do it all at once. I have never had any tattooing or microblading or anything. So I felt, for me, I wanted to go in lighter and less. And then when I go back in 5 weeks, if I want to build it up, I can. And if I don't want to, I can just leave it. So I just got manual strokes. So the micro pigment artist actually went in and drew these in by hand. It was sketched out beforehand, but drew them in. And then when I go back, I can make it darker and I can shade. The shade is done by a machine, like a tattoo, almost like a real tattoo machine. And we'll see. Like, we'll see how this looks in 5 weeks. A lot of it depends on how well the pigment stays on me, which is something you can't really tell until, frankly, you do it. So we will find out. So the first 3 shades, very sparkly, beautiful shades. And then this is, to me, like my skin tone, kind of like a matte. And I've used these Couture clutches for a while now. It's another matte-like shade. And I have to say, I've been impressed by all of them. They are not like the other Yves Saint Laurent eyeshadows that I've used. The other Yves Saint Laurent shadows that I've used, some have been good, some have not. But these have all been excellent. You can see this is a very light palette so far, very shimmery. I will show you the other palettes in comparison. I want to talk a little today about which one I would choose if I was just picking up one. I think most of these are still available. The pink one and the holiday one from last year might be harder to get. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, but now some of the palettes have shades that can definitely be used as blush or other things, and some of them don't. This one, I could definitely see me using this as blush. This one as well, actually. You could even use that as a little bit of contour on me. And let's use this deep shade here That's a really pretty, it's like a cranberry. Now you could definitely use these on your eyes, but for me personally, I would use this shade and this shade as blushes. This shade as maybe almost like a bronzer slash blush. That's just me. This one has more purple, so I would use this on the eye. These would definitely be eye shades. You could even use, if you were had a deeper skin tone, you could use like this as a highlighter. For me, these really wouldn't look as highlighters because they're just too deep for my skin tone. My skin tone is so pale. But this is a cool toned, lighter palette. And in my opinion, these could be blushes. This could definitely be a blush too. It's got more of that purple though. And on my skin tone, I don't think that would look quite right. So let me show you it in comparison to last year's holiday. Last year's holiday was Dress Me Wild. I don't know the official name of this one because it doesn't have a name on it. I'm sure it will. So the color stories, and they're magnetic, so they're going to stick together. Color stories are, there we go. Make sure I got it all in. The color stories are very different. Last year's has the blues and the grays, silvers. There's more, there's definitely blushes in here too, but it's a much cooler story last year than this year. Then the spring one, this pink one, it's like almost, it wasn't even really pink. It's kind of like it's almost like lavender. It has a similar story to last year's holiday in the sense that it's got the blues. It's, you know, it's cool tone, but it's got like blue. And less shimmers. There's shimmers in here definitely, but not as shimmery as like these here. And I'll make sure these are linked because I've done videos on every single one of the Couture clutches. So Paris looks like this. And here's the new one. I think it's interesting that they're... So Paris is a really interesting color story because it's got this yellow in it, which I don't have in any palette that I own. And I really like this. I really like this palette. I mean, I'm not going to say it's my favorite just yet, but we'll get into that towards the end. But I really like the Paris because it's a different color story. It's really unique. All right, so let me pull out Marrakesh. These are the earlier ones. And again, this is more like the holiday one where you have those blues. And in this one, like these shades can definitely be blushes over here. These 4 shades. In fact, I think I use them as such. And then these are, you know, this blue toned gorgeous. This shade is really, really pretty for the eyes. Again, I'll make sure they're linked. And you can use this as a highlighter if you want to. So this one I feel like is the most multi-purpose, maybe is the way to explain it, Marrakesh. But it is a more, it's a brighter color story. So if you don't like that, then you won't necessarily like that one. Tuxedo came out recently. Again, blues. But interestingly about Tuxedo is that it's actually more muted. It's very pretty. This is the new one. Marrakesh, Tuxedo is really pretty, but I actually didn't love it as much. Even though the colors in here like look really stunning, it was a little bit more muted for some reason. And I don't know if it was a formula thing or I don't know. But if I compare that one to Marrakesh, which also has blues in it, I don't know. I kind of like, me personally, I like the Marrakesh more. This is Tuxedo here, and this is Marrakesh. And then the last one is the, and you guys told me how to pronounce this and now I've forgotten. Sarien? I think Sarien. And there's one that's a little broken in here, so I'm gonna be really careful. Sarien looks more like this Holiday. You can see, but it's warmer. So it's similar, but warmer. And I really like the Sarien palette. It created a really beautiful fall look. Yes, it's definitely warmer, but I really liked it. So if I had to pick, if I was gonna say, if you're gonna go for anyone for the cool tones, I would pick Marrakesh. And if you were going for the warm tones, I would do the Sarien. But this is really hard for me to choose because I really do like the Dress Me Wild, the Holiday one from last year. It really was a beautiful palette, and the colors in here all worked beautifully, and this was a really good blush for me. And they do have the blues in there, which I really, really liked. So I don't know if I could pick just one. I think it really depends on like the color story you really like. And I have to say Paris is really cool because Paris has that yellow that is just, it's a really pretty yellow. Let me show you, just because it's unusual. You don't find a yellow like this. It's a sparkly yellow. And if you're looking for something like that, I don't see that in too many palettes. Again, it's, you know, it's an interesting contrast with the other shades in here. There's a gold in here too that is like a really pretty subdued gold next to the yellow. So, and there's a black, I mean, it's a really good palette. So, and there's pinks in there, like I said, that worked for me in regards to blush. So I don't have a favorite. I've been asked. I really can't pick one, but I'd say all the formulas are really good. I would say though, strangely enough, that Tuxedo is my least favorite. And that surprised me because it's got the browns and the blues and I thought I was gonna really like it. But there's something about the Tuxedo that's a little more subdued, like a little more, not dull, yeah, a little more dull. It's still good, but it's of the 6 that I had, because I haven't talked about Holiday yet, that's probably my least favorite. I'd pick the Marrakesh. If I'm looking for blue, I'd pick Marrakesh over that. And then the pink one I really like, but it's a very springy look. Like the light blue in there, I did a look with it. It's really pretty. But the shades are almost more pastel-y. And just in a general, like what I like and I'm drawn to, that's not as much my color story. If that's helpful to all of you. So today I'm gonna use one of these shades. I'm gonna maybe mix them a little bit and do a blush with that. I'm gonna use the matte shades on the eye and then we'll pick a sparkle because these shades, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they are very similar. These 3 shimmers and this one, they are very similar shimmers. Now, what I would say is this one has a little bit more taupe. This one has a little bit more copper. This is lighter, and this has more pink, but they're very similar. So I think they're gonna look very similar on the eye. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing because, you know, everybody has different ideas of what they want for a look, but I don't think the shades are as distinctly different as in some of the other palettes. All right, so let's do the blush first. I'm gonna be using a much smaller brush than I usually do for 2 reasons. One, my brushes are all drying because I washed them finally, and so they were dirty. And 2, I want to kind of give you a you know, a specific like area so you can see the blush colors. I'm going to not do a brow highlight or white like I usually do in my brow because of my brows being just microbladed. So I'm going to use the lightest shade as an inner corner, but this area is going to be kind of blank, which I know is going to look a little odd, but it was better than waiting 2 weeks. You don't have to wait 2 weeks to put makeup on or anything. It's just, you're not supposed to put any makeup or get any makeup on your eyebrows, which makes sense. There's open cuts. I mean, they're like a tattoo. It doesn't go nearly as deep as a tattoo, but still, you don't want to put anything on that. So I'm gonna be very careful when I do the look today. All right, so the shades I'm gonna do for the blush is this more cranberry shade and this pinker shade. So let's go with the pinker shade. I have a BK Beauty 108 brush, and we'll go in lightly because I just don't know how pigmented this will be on my face. So we'll tap off extra. And let's just see. Yeah, that's pretty pigmented. I mean, again, I'm pit, but it's a pretty pigmented shade. I'm just kind of laying it down first, and then we'll, but yeah, you can see that's a very pinky, very pretty blush, flushed kind of look. And I'm not going in at all heavy. I'm keeping it very light. Looking for that kind of flushed look, because I think this shade would lend itself very well for that. If you have a deeper skin tone, you can build this up very, very quickly because, like I said, it's pigmented shade. All right, so now we're gonna take the cranberry shade, which is a little deeper, and let's kind of, yeah, you can see that's even more pigmented. See how deep that is? And we'll just blend it in. Yeah, it's very pretty. It reminds me of the cranberry shade in the Salt, New York. That one's cream, but it's a very similar shade. I'm just blending it out. It's very pretty. Very much a flushed look. By the way, I have on the Clé de Peau Radiant Foundation. I don't have any bronzer on. I will put, I'm going to see if I can do this as a bronzer, but I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see. So I think that's really nice as a blush. That looks really pretty. All right, so then let's take this like bronze, it's this shade here. It has like more of that bronzy look. I'm going to use BK Beauty 103. So this is like a thicker, this is a bigger, fluffier brush. And really lightly, I'm just going to see if I can kind of use this. Yeah, I think that works. I think it would work better on a deeper skin tone, but definitely bronzes up the skin. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a little too deep, a little too red, but not bad. You could definitely use it in a pinch. Okay. Let's take the shade that was like very close to my, let's take the shade that was very close to my skin color. Let's take an Hourglass number 6 brush. And let's use that in the crease. And again, I'm going to be careful to keep this away from my brows. From what I understand, like as long as you're careful and you don't, you know, like I won't use makeup on it or cleansers on it. I have special cleansers that will work that I'm using for it, and a special balm, because really it is just, you know, they're little micro tears in your skin, so you don't want to put makeup on that. Keep out of the sun. I have a hat and sunglasses and all that good stuff. So like I said, this shade is super light. I mean, I don't even know if you can see it. I can barely see it. When we go to put shade over it, it'll show up, but it's basically the color, it's my skin tone. It's very, very light. So now let's take the shade that we put sort of as bronzer, do the same brush and just go over that. Of all the Couture clutches, this looks to me like the most, the softest of the palettes. The other ones, like Marrakesh is very bright. Paris is very bright. The Holiday from last year has all those blues, which are beautiful, by the way. The pink one is very pastel-y. Looks stunning on, but it's, you know, it's very pastel look. Tuxedo is, like I said, it's almost grungy. Does that make sense? I mean, it's not bad. Like, if you like that, like the NARS Climax is a little bit grungy, but it has more shimmer to it. The Tuxedo one is more grungy without shimmer. That's some, but that's a better way to describe it. It's not dull. It's more like grungy. The 90s are back, so maybe that's why. And then the Sarienne is like definitely that fall, almost like pumpkin-y kind of look. I really like it. I created a, you know, to be honest, it wasn't the one that I looked like when I was buying them. My eye went immediately to Tuxedo, but I think I like the Sarienne more than the Tuxedo, at least on me. In the palette, I probably still like the Tuxedo and the way it looks more, but I think the Sarienne looked better on my eye, to be honest. This is interesting. You never know. Okay, so now let's take this shade, this one here, and we'll go in and put this on the eye. This is the one that has more of like, it's almost like a gold shimmer. Has a little bit of peach to it. Yeah, it's very pretty. Like I said, though, this is a lighter, softer clutch than the others have been. And then let's take the shade that's a little bit more like bronzy, which is this one. Again, these are the three shimmers in the beginning. So these are all shimmery. We're going in with the Sonia G Mini Booster. And we're going to just concentrate that one more on the outside. And you'll see when I get close, it's like, it's got more warmth to it than the other shimmer. But they're not drastically different on the eye. Definitely shimmery though. Yeah, I'll show you up close. You'll see it a little bit better. But it's very pretty. All right, so then let's take, I'm going to use, because of my different brushes, I'm going to use that like really whitish shade that I would use in the brow bone. But I'm going to use it on the inner corner. And like I said, this is a shade that I would use in the brow bone. I'll show you which one it is. But at the moment, I'm not going there. So it's this shade right here. All right, let me clean up the outer corner of the eye really quick. All right, let me bring you in closer. Okay. That's the look before I deepen it up a little bit. You can see what I mean. This is a much softer look. There are definitely lines of demarcation though. This is not a palette where it's all blending into one. It's not, but it's definitely soft. It's a very soft look. So this is going to go along the lines of that whole rose prismy conversation that we had about Tom Ford. If you've watched my previous videos, if you like a lighter, softer look, I think this will be for you. If you want more of that colorful, pigmented, this is not for you. Let's take the shade that we used as kind of a little bit of a bronzer, and I used to deepen up the crease, and let's go over this again. And like I said in that video, and I've said many times, you know, you need to do what you like. If you like a softer look and that's your thing, and you want to pick up one of these clutches, but you haven't before because you felt like they were too colorful or, you know, just not your color story, and you were looking for, you know, a lighter, cooler, softer one, then this would be the one. I actually like it, I have to say. I don't think you're gonna get tons of different looks out of it. That's the only thing I would say. The shimmers are also similar. I'm not sure how many looks you're gonna get out of it, but you know, maybe you don't, that's another thing, maybe you don't really care about that. So it does depend on your taste. I'm just like pulling this out a little. But yeah, I mean, it is very pretty. It is blending well. It does look nice on the eye. I'm going to use the lightest shimmer and just kind of pop that right on the center. But like I said, it's very different than, say, like the Paris one that I showed you with the yellow. You know, you're not going to have, this doesn't have that. This has a much, I know I keep using the word softer, but that's what it is. It's a much softer look. Okay, so let's take the purpley matte shade, the one that I think you could definitely use as blush. Just tie that in here so we use as many shades as possible. And there's your look. And I'll use a liner, but I want you guys to see. Yeah, very soft, very pretty, very shimmery, kind of glowy look. I really like the blush. You know, for me, for my coloring, I think it actually looks nice. But I do think both those shades could be much deeper. I mean, I went in so light with those, which is interesting because the eyeshadow shades are definitely soft and light, whereas the redder shades in here are not. They're deeper. So I guess you could use those on the eye to deepen up the look, but I don't really like cranberry on my eye. Like the cranberry shades, like when they was really big for Chanel about 6 months to 9 months ago, I don't really like that on my skin tone and my eyes. If you like that though, you could definitely use those to deepen this up. But I think it looks like a really soft, pretty look. It doesn't disappear into nothing. There's definitely pigment there, and there's shimmer and it's shade, and there's different, you know, you can see different colors. So that's fine. But it's definitely, and I'm going to use the word again, it's definitely soft. Okay, use a little bit of liner. I'm just trying to think of what I want to use. I don't want to use anything too deep. Okay, I know I'm going to use. This is Contour Clair. This is a shade by Chanel. I think it looks a little bit like the matte taupe in the waterproof liner, but I don't have that shade. It's the only shade I don't have in the Chanel waterproof liner, which is kind of weird. But let me use this. I'm going to use it just on the upper lash line. There we go. That's good. Yeah, this shade is a very taupey shade. There's not a lot of color there, but it's really good for like if you want just something to line, you know, to accentuate, but you don't want a lot there. With a look like this, that's a much more ethereal look. I think it works. All right, so let me put on some mascara, and then let's talk about the palette comparisons and all that good stuff. So my overall thoughts about the palette is I really like it. I think it's very nice. The formula is really good. I don't think the color story is unusual, like, you know, Paris with the yellow and stuff. That's not what this is. To me, this is more of an everyday, which is interesting because it's the holiday palette. So don't, like the gold and the reflection on here doesn't really reflect what's inside it. I think what it's supposed, like the shimmers are supposed to, but I don't think the shimmers are, I don't think they're as shimmery as the packaging. Now, if you used like the Pat McGrath wand or maybe, you know, something to make the shimmers enhanced, okay, maybe. But still, in and of themselves, they're more ethereal, softer, just a pretty look. It'll be interesting to see the lipsticks that come with it, to see if they match that. If they are softer or lighter, you know, more everyday. I'm going to bet they are, because that's what this says to me. But again, you never know because they don't have them yet. Overall, I think it's a really pretty look. I actually like it on me. I think it looks nice. But you can see what I mean. And I'll make sure, like I said, throughout the video that I was linking to the other palettes. They are all, every single one of them, more colorful than this one. And I would say more eclectic than this one. The Sarian is more of one color story like this one, but still has more pops of color. The rest of them are definitely more eclectic. So, depends on what you like. So hopefully this was helpful. As soon as I have the lip products, and I don't know if I'm going to get the cushion product or if there's going to be anything else that comes as part of Holiday, I will certainly pick those up as well. And I will do another video with those products, and I'll make sure I use this palette in addition. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.